save our videos.
Doing the pledge. I call this meeting to order for Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Susan Payne,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sharon McDonald,
Here.
Commissioner Stephen Burnett,
Here.
Commissioner Warren Robinson,
Here.
Commissioner Josh Reardon,
Here.
Commissioner Mark Tapley.
Here.
Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Rachel. We are going to start with the invocation given by Commissioner, Pastor Robinson, Reverend Robinson, however we want to address him tonight, over here to my right, and then the pledge led by Mayor Pro Tem McDonald. If you'll stand, please.
Eternal Heavenly Father, look down on us and have mercy. We haven't done everything that we could have or should have done in your sight. We're human. But be patient with us, Lord. And as you are patient with us, let us be patient with those who don't think like we do or see things the way that we do. But realize that we're all here to make Alamogordo a better place. We bring our ideas, we bring our energy, and we bring our concerns so that this may be a better city. Bless each person to give what they have and to be respected as they do it. Lord, leadership is important these days. Kind leadership, wise leadership, leadership that has integrity. Bless us to have those things as we deal with problems that we won't solve this lifetime, but we make the best effort that we can to serve the citizens of this city. If you give us this power, Lord, we'll use it wisely. We ask this in the name of your Son. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem McDonald. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner Robinson. Can we put up the vote, please?
Can you tell me who gave the motion?
I'm sorry?
Who made the motion?
Mayor Pro Tem McDonald. We have that awkward silence again. I keep saying I'm going to get the Jeopardy tune up here while we're voting because it just kind of makes sense, right? Okay, and motion passes 6-0. All right, we're going to move on to Commissioner District 1 vacancy. Before we get started, we did have one applicant withdraw, and that was, is it Louis?
Yes.
Luis Montez. So we will go on with the other ones in the order that they were received. And our first one is Brian Schroeder. And if you want to just state your name for the record and then just take just a couple of minutes to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name's Brian
Pull
Schroeder.
that up if you want. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
Nice to meet you, Mayor and fellow commissioners. I was born in El Paso, Texas. Spent all my summers in Ruidosa. Came through Alamogordo quite a bit, but I decided to move here 3 years ago. And when I saw the District 1 come open for vacant, I said, what the heck, worth a try.
Okay, well, that's
My
good.
cover letter pretty much speaks for itself. If anybody has any questions, I can answer them.
Does anybody have any questions?
What brought you to Alamogordo?
Being born and raised in El Paso, and then I had a cabin in Ruidoso, but lost it this last May in the South Fork fire. So, and I just, that we're going to, stay in Alamogordo and go to Ruidoso in the summer and get out of the heat. But it's gone, and we're not going to rebuild.
Yes, sir.
It was in Cedar Creek, so that area was pretty much devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty devastating. Anybody else have any questions?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was looking at your resume application. It says, I would like to address on an ending in my work history due to a recent relocation and subsequent retirement in June of '22. Would you like to explain that?
I turned 62. I have enough savings and, to retire. So I went ahead and retired and moved to Alamogordo because everything I was doing was in Richmond, Virginia. And I was living in Richmond, Virginia for the last 34 years, working for a government subcontractor and working at the NSA in Laurel, Maryland.
Thank you.
Commissioner Reardon, do you have a question?
No, kind of answered it too. So.
Oh, okay. So can you just sort of tell us a little bit about what do you know about Alamogordo, particularly city government? Can you share with us?
I've followed it, in the newspaper and, the water problems that are current, and so I figured, heck, I could probably be helped there.
Okay. All right. And do you know anything about, like our city charter, for example? Do you know? Or you know what? Let's make it even more basic. What do you feel the role of a commissioner is?
To represent the district they represent
Okay.
and listen to their constituents within that district to better serve them, but at the same time, considering the city as a whole.
All right. Very good. And are you familiar with the city's budget at all?
I've been at the last two meetings, and I listened to the chief engineer speak on many issues that are presently in the works, and it sounds like quite a job ahead of you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Anybody? No? Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I appreciate it. Okay, we are going to move on. Ivan Maxwell.
Doesn't say how long he was in the military.
My name is Ivan Maxwell. Good evening, Mayor Payne, Mayor Pro Tem, and commissioners. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, grew up in Arkansas. I grew up on a small farm. Well, it was a pretty big farm where my granddad did a lot of field work up until I was maybe 11 years old. We moved to West Memphis, Arkansas. What brought me to Alamogordo is because of the safety. I was complaining to some family friends about how dangerous West Memphis and Memphis was becoming. So a family friend said, I know a place you can move with probably little to no crime. And then my first question was, is it in America? And then she said yes. And then she said, Alamogordo. And then I was like, Ala who? Said it again. And so she said, Alamogordo, New Mexico. So I knew where New Mexico was located. I knew it was in the United States. So I did a little research, and then
That's a
yes,
good
she was
start.
right. It had some low crime. So within a week and a half after this conversation, I was here with a U-Haul, no place to live, and no job. Because every decision I make now is because of my kids. I have 8 kids, 5 girls and 3 boys. And I have a very, 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 very patient wife at home by the name of Vernisa. And that's what brought me to Alamogordo. They told me it was a military town. It was for kids, and it was a safe community that my kids could play in the backyard without being afraid of being hit by a stray bullet. And that what made me make my decision, because we had some gunshots in our houses, and so I had to get up and go. And I've been here since 2016, and I love it.
So you've been here since 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Does anybody have any questions?
Do you have any experience as an elected official or?
Well, I don't have any experience as an elected official. I think I know the duties of a commissioner, or some of them, because I'm not on the inside, I'm on the outside looking in. I believe that it is to make sound decisions in a team based on like the city budget, infrastructure and plans, so and safety, like the police, giving them direction on, I guess, pay and training, so everybody can feel safe, and also so we can have clean water to drink, clean water to bathe. As a whole, the commissioners have Alamogordo and their citizens at the forefront of every thought and every decision that they make. So you're putting everybody else in the front of you instead of making decisions based on your own personal wants and needs.
Anybody?
I have another question. As you're a military veteran,
Yes, ma'am. I served in the Navy for 9 years, and I served in the Army National Guard for 3.
and what was your position, and what did you
I was
do?
in the Navy. I was intelligence in the Navy, and in the Army, I was a 91 Bravo second. First, I was an 88 Mike light wheel vehicle, truck driver, transport specialist, and then I was a 91 Bravo light wheel vehicle mechanic in the Army.
Okay, so are you familiar with the city budget at all? Or, I'm sorry, were you done? Oh, okay. Yes, are you familiar with the
I'm
city
not
budget?
100% familiar with the budget. I do know there's a lot of money going in and a lot of money going out. I do know we have I think it is a 20-year plan that we are trying to redevelop and fix our infrastructure, like bridges and stuff like that in Alamogordo. Also, we have a housing plan in that 20-year plan to keep housing affordable for our citizens. We have an economic plan in there also as well, in that 20-year plan. I don't know all the details because, again, I don't look at it every single day. It's just brief knowledge of me reading through the pages every now and then.
Oh, you're somewhat right. 20 years though now. They would, they'd fire us all.
It might be 20 years old.
I know.
The plan.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been the issue. That's funny. Okay, but yes, we do have sort of a comprehensive plan, yes. Okay, so I know obviously you work at CASA.
Yes.
Okay, so how would you handle, because obviously most all of us work, we have another job. I know for me, it can be difficult sometimes because I have another job and I have to leave that job to go represent the city. Now, that's a little bit different, obviously, because I'm the mayor, but how would you be able to handle things like that, like representation and?
You mean like being able to leave and?
Yeah, I mean.
Because when I initially got hired, I told the person who wanted to hire me that I must have flexible hours to where I can leave and go, because I like to do a lot of stuff. I was a referee for the Little League because they didn't have any referees, so I was refereeing as many games I could possibly do. I referee for the New Mexico Athletic Association, so I referee basketball, football also. And also, since I'm a very high performer, they don't give me any hard times when I need to leave and go as I please. Hey, I just got promoted to a sales manager like 3 days ago on Thursday, so And everybody is aware that I'm trying to get the District 1 seats, and everybody is behind me. Even my GM had already supported me. So it would not be an issue. I can leave and go as I please.
Okay. Okay, and then another question I have, I guess we all have our vision for Alamogordo. What would be your vision for like the future of Alamogordo? Like,
Well, hopefully I'm still in it because I just bought a home and
That's a plus.
Yes, and I told my kids I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. So my vision for Alamogordo is to continue to grow, because when I first moved here, a lot of people, because I always talk to everybody. I pass by you in Walmart, I would talk to you like I knew you for 15 years. It's just me. So when I first moved here and people found out that I was brand new here, they would tell me, well, Alamogordo is growing. You should have seen it back in the day. It was a very small town. So my vision for Alamogordo is just continually grow, financially growth, size and growth, and just infrastructure. That's my vision. A place where tourists will want to come and take their family to see national monuments. So that's my vision, because my vision also of me living here for the next 20 or 30 plus years, if I'm alive, if it's God's will, you know? So that's my vision.
all right, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? No? Okay, thank
Thank you for
you.
your time, your consideration.
Thank you. Okay. Hang on, I'm flipping through here. Okay, so we're going to skip the next one. And then we're going to move on to Crystal Guthrie. Hi there, how are you?
Good.
Okay. You want to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Thank you, first of all, for giving me a moment of your time. My name is Crystal Guthrie. I am a longtime resident of Alamogordo, New Mexico. I wasn't born here, but I came here at 3 months old, so that's pretty close. I've been here for about 99.9% of my life, the other time being traveling the world through the military and college, but I always ended back up in Alamogordo. This is where my family has been forever. I'm raising 3 daughters here as well with my husband, who is also a lifelong resident. And so our goals and our visions for Alamogordo are pretty intense on safety and continued growth in a positive way, because we want our kids to love Alamogordo just as much as we have through the years. I will tell you a little bit about, I have a bachelor's in business administration and management. I am a real estate broker here in town, a qualified broker for my office. I used to run a few small businesses here, one of which we closed down once my mom retired. We ran that together. The other one I sold to my partner. So I understand Alamogordo as far as small business, community, the problems we have, how our kids are growing up, all the good things. I see a lot of growth. As Ivan said, you know, you come here and you see a lot of growth. When you first get here, there's not a whole lot. When I was in high school, there was hardly anything. And we used to whine about how there's nothing to do. And my kids still do the same thing.
I was going to say, people.
It's always, there's nothing to do, and I joke that kids say there's nothing to do, and adults say we come here because there's nothing to do. It's a great town, it's a great community, it's calm, the crime is low, the schools are good, the people are good. I'd like to see a lot of things change in a positive direction for our kids and our community if we could. But I think we're making really good progress in a positive way. And I've seen it through all of my years of being here in Alamogordo. So I would love nothing more than to be a part of that growth and continued progress towards coming up with solutions to the problems Alamogordo does have.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Okay.
Based on the fact that you've lived in Alamogordo and you've seen the growth, what do you think, as a real estate person, what do you think is necessary for the next steps?
I think there's some big steps that need to be taken in the housing development process for Alamogordo. We have investors, builders coming in and making progress towards new development. What we're not seeing a lot of is restoration in the areas that Alamogordo really needs it. There's a lot of houses that are city-owned or bank-owned that are just sitting that our investors would like to get a hold of, that they could, turn around, flip it, make it actually affordable. We're seeing a lot of our military members, E4s, coming out, having to live off of base, and there's nowhere for them to rent or live because the prices are just too high or there's nothing available for them. And it's a problem that Alamogordo has, and it's something that needs to be addressed. But as far as development and construction on new housing and the growth that we see towards the north side of town, it's incredible to see the growth. But I think now that we have growth in that direction, we need to take a step back, look at what we can do to kind of up what's already here, make it a little bit better for our community.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how many city-owned houses we have, actually.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think that, we don't have a lot.
We
do we?
used to.
Yeah.
We used to have some.
We have some, but we
Through
don't have.
housing, we had a few.
We have a few.
Mayor, we have few, and we're going to be planning a master sale sometime this year.
Yeah.
Because we do have some properties that were awarded to us through the foreclosure process. But we have a list of them. I can get you at some
So,
point.
yeah, so as a real estate agent, I'm sorry, does anybody else have any questions? As a real estate agent, do you, because I didn't understand this, now I feel like I could quote it like a Bible, but do you understand the process for like condemnation and that kind of thing and
Yes,
what
ma'am.
we have to go through to make that happen?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, so you understand the 2 years and okay, perfect. Okay, good, I want to hear that, okay. Now, how familiar are you with our budget?
Other than sitting in multiple meetings, listening in, looking at the budget recently, I really got more interested in it probably about 6 months ago, coming to meetings and listening. So other than what I've heard from you guys at the meetings, not much more than that.
Yeah, and I asked everybody that question because I feel like it's probably one of the most important things a commissioner can know. So
I
that's
bet
why
I would know it pretty good, pretty quick.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say I know it. I would say, honestly, Commissioner Reardon probably knows it better than all of us, just because of his time on the commission. But although I have been here a while now, I'm going on 10 years, and just smacked me. Anyway, okay. But no, I do think it's important. Okay, so how about our city charter? Are you familiar with our city charter?
As far as policies and what you do?
I mean, yeah, even just what it contains. Do you know anything about our charter and what our form of government is and how that works?
Yes, and actually, I've volunteered for the Association of Realtors and sat on that board for 4 years. So what you guys do and how you do policies, procedures, development, and meetings is very similar to the same format.
So are you familiar with our form of government? Do you know what form of government we are?
You're going to ask me that, and I'm going to not remember.
It's okay.
I cannot think right now.
And I probably should have asked everybody
I'm
that
like,
question. 'Cause
it's on my tongue.
I actually think that's a really important question. I'm not, most people don't. Most people don't understand how our form of government works, but it is something important, so I do think it's worth asking the question. Okay, so just one more question. What is your vision for, well, and you kind of alluded to that a little bit, so I guess that's really sort of redundant, but what, but what is your vision? I mean, other than housing, I get the housing, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
think housing is a problem all over the country. Well, I know it's a problem all over the country, and it's definitely something we're working on, but other than that, what is your vision?
I want Alamogordo to continue to grow in a positive manner. There's a lot of issues that Alamogordo has that have been addressed, but I'll say haven't been solved. And just continue to work with like-minded people like yourselves in taking steps forward in coming up with answers to these questions that our residents have. The homeless problem that we have here maybe isn't as bad as some, but it's worse than others. We don't have a defined solution on that, and I'd love to see that to come to fruition sooner than later, as I'm sure all of you would as well. I want Alamogordo to be a safe place for my kids to grow up. I want them to want to live here. I don't want them to leave and never want to come back. Alamogordo holds a special place in my heart because I have been here my whole life. And I have seen the positive direction it's taken, and I want it to continue in that manner.
All right.
I have another question. Since you have children in the area, what are some of the thoughts that you have for them, or what do you see as some of the challenges when they say there's no place for us to go?
Kids get bored so easy here, and you can suggest things like going for a hike in the mountains or riding their bike, but you just don't see kids do that much anymore. Kids need something that they can go do that's active without their cell phones attached to their face. And when I was growing up, we had places kids could go dance. And I'm not talking like formal dance lessons, I'm talking about places you just go dance. The parks had music, there was more activities, social activities that people would put on. I feel like we were more involved in our city, and I feel like that's really kind of been stepped back. My kids get tired of going to the movies, they love it, but it's like the only thing to do. I hated to see the community center close because that was something different they could do. I know that there is one business opening soon that's going to have airsoft rifles and archery and indoor things that I think will really be great for the single airmen that are younger and maybe our older youth. But besides the rec center and things like that, we just don't have a lot for our youth to do. So I know there's things in the works. I know there's the rec center pool that's coming up. I know about the indoor airsoft. I know that we're working on the community center, the bowling, and trying to figure out what to do with that. And I think if we could get all those established and get them going, it would be great. But they really need outdoor community things where they can go with family. They don't have to be scheduled or paid for. Some of these things can be really expensive. And kids need a place to go where they can be safe and feel like they can play and be outside and not attach their phone all the time. So any type of community park, we've done a great job actually at the parks with, enclosing the futsal area for soccer and adding the skate park, but I think we could still do more.
Yeah, it's interesting because I have 3 kids. They were all born in a different decade, and the oldest one was born in a decade where there was no internet. She had no internet. Her phone was, plugged into the wall, right? Mm-hmm. And then the second one, Packard Bell came out with the first desktop computer, and there was dial-up, and so he was just like, yeah, whatever. And then our last one, who's only 25, oh my God, she's like,
but they all have nothing to
and
do.
I'm like, it's so funny to have 3 kids, and I raise all 3 kids, but so different in their mindset, because I hear what you're saying about the outdoor recreation and that kind of thing. But honestly, getting kids to get away from their cell phone and their technology is just stupid ridiculous. And even our base says that about our young airmen. They're like, yeah, don't even bother, because all they want to do is play their video games when they're off board. Like our former commander said that. And so I'm not sure what we could do that would be enough for these kids, quite honestly.
And I think
that's
a challenge.
That's a family dynamic, you know what I mean? That's like, you can't just send your kids out. You have to literally go with them and take them on hikes and do all these things, and they don't even know what that is. So, yeah, no, I do. I think that I get what you're saying now. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? Anybody? Nobody has any questions? Am I asking all the questions? I'm a people person. I want to know. Because I do think that our city is in a critical time right now. I think that we are a critical time of growth, to be honest with you. You mentioned the Family Fun Center. Did you know that we've gone out for RFP and we had a walkthrough the other day, and I'm going to talk about that here in a few minutes, but we're actually on that right now. And Alamogordo Main Street, there's a lot going on down there, and our big comprehensive water plan it's not 20 years, I promise, but it I think it's over I think we said 7 years or something. So, I mean, there is a lot going on, and I think it's a critical time for our city, so. Okay, well, nobody else has any questions. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, no comments, no, we're good? All right, I guess with that, I will entertain a nomination from the commission. Does anybody want to make a nomination? Listen, you guys act like you're half asleep, and I have an 8-page state of the city that I will be reading tonight. Don't worry, it's 14-point font. I'm just kidding. It's really not that long, but it's my old eyes, so.
Can we give you a 3-minute time frame?
I'm just saying. You guys have to sit through this.
I'll make a nomination of Crystal Guthrie.
Okay. So I have a nomination for Crystal Guthrie. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from Commissioner Tapley. I guess we want to put up the vote, right?
You do, yes.
Okay.
On the mayor and Commissioner Robinson.
And motion passes 6-0. Congratulations. Thank you for coming in. I know that's not easy, and
I'd like to thank everybody that threw their name in the
Yes.
hat as well. It's
Yes.
a thankless job, and you guys are, it's awesome that you stepped up, so,
it is a very thankless job, actually, sometimes.
it can be, so.
That's all right. We're not here for thanks, so.
Do you
All
wanna
right.
Take a short break so staff can kind of show her how to use a computer, or?
Yes, she
Oh,
has
yeah,
to do
and
the oath of office
Okay.
first. And I believe your husband is going to hold the Bible for you, yeah.
And Commissioner Reardon, the computer's already ready.
It's ready to go, huh?
Yep.
You might have to show them how to use it. This new system sucks. I don't like it.
You can hold the Bible. Okay, so, let's see. Okay, so you're going to raise your right hand. Can you hear us? Okay.
You can put the other
you're
one
gonna
on
put
there,
your
yeah.
other hand. There you go. And you're going to repeat after me. When I say I, you're going to say your name. Okay.
I, Crystal Guthrie,
Yeah, neither of them.
Having been
Neither of them.
appointed
having been appointed
to the office
to the office
of District 1
of District 1
City Commissioner
City Commissioner
for a term to expire
for a term to expire
on December 31st,
on December 31st,
2025,
2025,
in the city of Alamogordo,
in the city of Alamogordo,
state of New Mexico,
state of New Mexico,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws
the Constitution and the laws
of the state of New Mexico,
of the state of New Mexico,
and faithfully
and faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of said office
of said office
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You want to come inside?
You want me in the picture?
We're going to take a 5-minute,
Yeah, 5
a good 5-minute break. We're going to go ahead and resume the meeting, ladies and gentlemen, ladies in green, ladies in the back. I know, was that planned or? No? All right then.
It'll be fun.
Okay. As I stated earlier, I am going to start with my State of the City address. I am required, as part of my duties, to deliver one every year. I'm going to just tout that I have to write my own because I don't know, they don't give me a secretary to do it. And I've spent the last 2 days trying to put this thing together, so bear with me. I felt like I was writing one of my graduate papers or something.
That's why you have AI.
Oh, is that, see, I wouldn't even know how to use AI.
Either.
AI summarizes things
But
quickly.
that sounded good. It sounded good, though. Didn't it sound like he knew what he was talking about? He had no clue.
have no
Anyway,
idea.
They
okay.
give you bullet points.
I was like, this is a nightmare. Like, I don't, okay. Anyway. All right. So I'm going to start with our State of the City for 2025. I will tell you that in 2024, we were pretty darn busy, and it may not have seemed like it, but we were. I'm going to start with our police department. Our staffing is currently at 46 officers. We have 10 vacancies. We do have 2 police service aides and 2 vacancies, 3 code enforcement officers, 1 vacancy. Our mobile crisis team, I think they have a director, a clinician, a peer support specialist, and 2 family support specialists with 1 vacancy there. The mobile crisis team, if you're not familiar with that, they were a team that actually we set up on as part of a grant funding, 2019. 2018, okay, so long time ago now. And they are the team that is called out when there's a crisis. They sort of try to intervene, and I'm really dumbing this down a little bit, I'm sorry, but they do try to intervene, and it has been proved to be very successful. So they had 372 referrals last year, and then an additional 28 from the county, because we do have an agreement with the county as well. Code enforcement, they added 1,968 new cases to their already open cases. I know that they actually issued somewhere around 4,000 between like warnings and citations last year, so they were quite busy. But the new cases, so those are the cases that you know, they didn't comply or whatever, and they had to open a new case, I guess, is almost 2,000. The police department itself responded to almost 35,000 calls in 2024. That's a lot of calls. I joke around that half of those were probably car accidents. So, okay, I know, roll your eyes, you know I'm right. It's okay. I really don't know. I just know they responded to 35,000 calls last year. So, in 2024, our police department launched the Ferguson Academy to inspire future public safety leaders while honoring Officer Anthony Ferguson, who we know was killed in the line of duty on July 16, 2023. Our inaugural year saw 15 graduates, both boys and girls, who spent 3 weeks participating in obstacle courses, in classroom learning, and gaining practical skills that will hopefully one day lead them to a career in law enforcement. They ended with a graduation where family and friends watched them receive recognition for their dedication and hard work, and it really was very successful and is actually going to be expanded this year to include other agencies, and I'm not sure if we're going to make that a longer, still 3 weeks, but we have other agencies that have reached out and want to participate. Additionally, APD continues to lead with excellence marked by the successful reaccreditation process that reaffirms our commitment to the highest standards of service. Finally, we entered into a contract for innovative technology, deploying advanced LVT trailers and integrating block safety systems to enhance operational flexibility and investigative capabilities. Also, animal control celebrated a 15% increase in pet adoptions, which just reflects our community's compassion and our commitment to finding forever homes for those animal intakes. We also want to give I shout out to the 12th Judicial District Attorney's Office for the prosecution of the person responsible for the death of Officer Anthony Ferguson. The trial took place in November of 2024 and ended with a successful conviction on all of the most serious counts. Their commitment to seeking justice for his family and our department definitely did not go unnoticed. And with that, APD ended the year with the presentation of several accommodations to Officers Cisneros, Sergeant Watts, and Officer Zeck, who were on duty that night and showed tremendous strength and courage in the face of danger. After watching the trial, and I did have the opportunity to sit through the trial, it's very clear to me that what took place that night still affects them, and yet they continue to do their job every day with excellence and professionalism. And most important, it underscores the idea that no matter how safe we think we are, there is evil out there, and we all need to remain vigilant and never take that for granted. And I say that all the time. Moving on to our fire department, staffing for the fire department consists of, we have the chief, assistant chief, fire marshal, 27 firefighters. We do have 6 budgeted openings. They did respond to over 2,000 calls last year. About half of those were rescue and emergency medical services. And for those of you who don't know, they actually also respond to calls for the county. They're called out quite often to assist our county as well. So the department completed a comprehensive hazard mitigation plan incorporating robust new data and strategies to better protect our citizens in the event of a natural disaster. This achievement has also paved the way for initiating discussions on our first ever continuity of operations and emergency operations plans, which further solidifies our preparedness for any challenge. Our dedicated fire department continued to shine. Not only do they serve our city with excellence, but in 2024, they also extended support to neighboring communities during some very challenging times. They responded without hesitation to a major wildfire in Ruidoso and provided much-needed support to the village to ensure the safety and well-being of their residents. They also effectively managed a severe flood in Roswell, again providing support to our neighboring city and demonstrating the importance of working cohesively across our state to help our neighbors. It should be noted that it was all done while maintaining uninterrupted service for Alamogordo, which is a testament to our community and our dedicated first responders. In addition, they did have some community service events that took place with participation in the Ferguson Academy and the presentation of a Junior Fire Marshal Award. They currently have 2 youth that are enrolled in a Youth Fire Setter program. This is a 6-week program working along with CYFD and counselors to help the kids learn about the dangers of fire and the devastation it causes, not only to property, but to life as well. In past years, our department has hosted a program in conjunction with the high school in which the last one was we had 3 students that came over during their 7th hour to Fire Station 5 and participated in the firemanship training process and learned what a day as a firefighter for the city of Alamogordo goes through. The department is currently working with Anna Alday, the CTE director for the high school, to once again institute the program and potentially create future firefighters. Our fire and police departments have truly set the standard for excellence, and we couldn't be more proud of the work that they're doing. Infrastructure and Public Works. Our Public Works Department has been going full throttle all year. As we heard just a few weeks ago, our city currently has 52 projects that are in various stages from design to implementation. The dollar amount on these projects is in excess of $300 million, and thanks to our, I had to throw this in because she really is talented. Thanks to our talented grants coordinator, Deborah Osborne, grants will be our primary funding source for a lot of these projects. Also this year, in collaboration with our engineering and utilities teams, Public Works finished the citywide striping project, advanced 2 stormwater basin maintenance projects, and initiated the Hubbard Bridge replacement. They also rehabilitated 2 key water storage tanks, Foothills Park, which is a 5 million gallon tank, and Lower Heights, which is a $2.3 million gallon tank. Plans are underway to upgrade 3 additional tanks this year: Callahan, Lower Alamogordo, and Lower Ocotillo. Also in the final planning stage is the first phase of the city's plan to repair and replace our water infrastructure, scheduled to start within the next month or so, and beginning with the south end of town and broken up into 8 phases. The city is systematically going through and bringing much-needed improvements to prepare for future growth. While we understand that we had to make some unpopular decisions in terms of rate increases, we want our citizens to be assured that this additional revenue is being used responsibly and to ensure that we can continue to deliver water uninterrupted to every household. Also from Public Works, you may have noticed the vast amount of orange barrels currently adorning our streets around town. I tried to make them sound nice. I like to look at these as progress, but with that does come some inconvenience. So on 10th Street, work is being done to replace the Washington Bridge after a crack was discovered, necessitating the need to close it off until further notice. Because of this discovery, staff has now contracted to have all our bridges inspected to ensure they are safe. On Oregon, between Indian Wells and Charlotte Lane, work is underway to replace and upgrade all water and sewer lines. This is the first step toward replacing our, well, I shouldn't say it's the first step, but it's in conjunction or in mind that because we'll be replacing the pool, and this is what needed to happen first. So that is scheduled, the replacement of the pool is scheduled to begin hopefully in January of '26. Another exciting project is taking place on New York Avenue in conjunction with Alamogordo Main Street and the Great Blocks Project. We are doing our part in being proactive by replacing water and sewer lines along that section. We recognize the inconvenience this is causing our business owners, but we believe that when this entire project is completed, it will be a great improvement to our downtown area. In the meantime, I do encourage all of you to visit those businesses and show them our hometown support during this time. Along those same lines, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Alamogordo Main Street in more detail. If you're not familiar with our local Main Street board, then I encourage you to follow them on social media or check out their website. They are another demonstration of visionary leadership coming together to make our community the very best it can be. And they do that as an all-volunteer board. So they do a lot of work down there. And thank you to all those who serve and take the time, because they are taking time away from their businesses and families and other projects to contribute to the betterment of our community. In addition to all this, we cannot forget about Bonita Lake. I said May, I think it was May of '24, wasn't it? Yeah, it was May. Yeah, in May of '24, we were scheduled to open our lake for fishing after 12 years of closure due to the Little Bear Fire. The night before this schedule, the Blue 2 fire broke out, and we were forced to suspend the opening. This was truly a gut punch moment for many of us who remember the original fire and what it took to get to this point. With the very real possibility that we could once again lose our lake, our Public Works Department, specifically Director Dave Nunley, came up with what I refer to as a brilliant plan to mitigate damage and save our lake. Working with state and even federal representatives, we secured funding basically and had a crew come in and dig smaller, and I hope I'm saying this right, sediment ponds to catch any debris and stop it from ending up in our lake. Because we weren't worried about the fire, we were worried about the rains and the aftermath of the fire and all of that debris going back into our lake, and then we would be back at square one. So the crews began digging, and after only being shut down once due to a woodpecker, anybody remember the woodpecker? Okay. They did find the woodpecker. The ponds were dug and our lake was saved. It worked. There was a great story that came out from one of the workers when, and I'm hearing this secondhand, so I hope I'm getting this right. Staff was thanking them for their efforts, and one of the workers that was digging the pond said that they wanted to do this, that they grew up fishing in the lake, and their kids missed out on that same opportunity. That's a whole generation that missed what they got to experience, and they did not want that to happen again. And I think that was just a testament to, again, just our community and even our state coming together. So as you can see, they are really busy, and that's not even all. I could have talked about roads and patching and all of that, but as you can see, our Public Works Department has been busy. So we have some regional and community investments. The airport hosted an annual fly-in event in collaboration with the EAA, which is the Experimental Aircraft Association, and opened the airfield to anyone interested in aviation and other aviation-related fields. The open house was held on April 13th, 2024, and featured a vintage Ford tri-motor aircraft that offered rides to the public. The event drew around 1,700 visitors, and the EAA flew 52 flights over 4 days with a total of 328 passengers. Alamogordo White Sands Airport also secured a combined $1.5 million from federal, state, and local sources to rehabilitate a crack seal project for the entire taxiway. Primary work was completed in November of '24, and the pending final paint striping. The final striping and project completion were wrapped up earlier this month. The Alamogordo Public Library secured an ICIP funding to renovate the building's north patio, the 10th Street facing patio, to accommodate patrons needing a private entrance to access the newly constructed telehealth booth. The total cost for walkway, patio rehabilitation, and telehealth booth is estimated at $125,000. Funds have been awarded but not dispersed, and work will begin once those plans are finalized. They also secured a 2022 GEO bond funding for $166,447. $35,000 of that allocated and expended for the replacement of 31 windows, 11 public computers, 23 youth and adult reservation computers, and 8 public access catalog computers, and then $60,000 allocated, expended for library collections, and the remaining will be carried over to 2026. They also purchased and received this is really cool, received a book vending machine with library branding at a cost of $8,000 to be placed in downtown Main Street area at the Alamo Venture Academy after the construction on New York Avenue is complete. So this book vending machine is a dual promotional collaboration with the Alamogordo Public Library and Alamogordo Main Street, and I thought that was very cool. Alameda Park Zoo improvements. Thanks to significant ICIP funding, half of the zoo's fencing projects have been completed, and we've made essential upgrades to our wolf exhibit, bringing it in line with USDA standards. Upcoming ICIP requests include an education building that will enhance the ability to provide educational opportunities to our school-age children and visitors alike. Upgrades are also being made to IT infrastructure with the hope that one day school field trips will include the use of tablets to aid in even more educational opportunities. Sewer line replacements are also planned for the south side of the zoo to eastbound 10th Street. This is needed in order to accommodate the new education building. Also beginning construction is a north side bathroom being funded by a recently awarded grant. These quality of life projects are important to the future growth of our city and demonstrate our commitment to providing many options for our citizens to enjoy. Alameda Park, I just wanted to throw in a little blurb about Alameda Park. I know there were a lot of people that were disappointed when the trees were removed, but there are new trees, and they should be blooming soon, actually. And we all know that that was necessary because there was a new irrigation project that was quite extensive. And so with that, there's been new trees planted, and we're looking forward to them blooming in the very near future as our weather gets warmer. It's the cemetery. The cemetery improvement is about 50% completed. Improvements were made on the north and east entrances to include wall structures and motorized gates. Also included is a new arch entranceway on the north side entrance. A fun fact that our project manager gave me today, April will mark 125 years since the inception of the cemetery, which was created by the founders of Alamogordo. 125 years. It's a long time. We recently went out for RFP on the Family Entertainment Center or the Family Fun Center. Last week, 8 companies showed interest by completing the mandatory walkthrough at the facility. Prospective bidders were given very little in terms of required amenities other than it had to have a restaurant and a bowling alley. Beyond that, they are asked to be creative and come up with their ideas for how they would make this a destination for all our citizens to enjoy. Typically, this process would involve a presentation by the bidder to staff who would then come back with their recommendations. In an effort to be as transparent as possible, we have decided that all presentations on this project will be done in a public meeting in front of the commission, who will then make the final decision on the award. We invite all our citizens to attend the April 22nd. I think I have April 22nd. Yep, April 22nd meeting, either in person or online, and listen to the proposals. I'm looking forward to hearing what these presentations, and what they plan to bring as entertainment and this back to our community. Housing, the city staff has been doing much research and looking at many new housing options for our community. We recognize the need for additional housing, particularly rentals, for all segments of our population, from military to civilian and all socioeconomic classes. That said, we do have 2 new apartment complexes scheduled to begin soon that will address at least some of the shortfall. While both will be off-base, one is targeted specifically for lower rank enlisted. This will be sort of dorm style, but off-base. And it will hopefully provide the ability to free up units that are currently occupied by our military members and make them available for non-military personnel as well. In addition, we are looking forward to a groundbreaking on another complex that will provide an additional 100+ units that will be available for rent once the project is completed. This is just the beginning, as we are continually looking for creative ways to fill the housing need in our community, and we do recognize that there is a huge need, and so we are working on that. So what's on our radar? Have you heard about the F4 project? Have you heard about the F4? Have you guys heard? Everybody should say yes. Okay. Several years ago, our city was gifted an out-of-commission F4 Phantom II. This iconic aircraft, which with its rich history tied to Holloman Air Force Base, representing decades of service and sacrifice by those who have defended our freedom. Through the collaborative effort of some visionary community leaders, a plan has been laid out to create a memorial to honor the men and women who have served and continue to serve our great country right here at Holloman. This project is set for unveiling later this summer and will be home to the Gateway Freedom Monument, a tribute landmark featuring the F-4 fighter jet, which is currently being refurbished by veteran maintenance specialists. It will be painted in an authentic Vietnam-era scheme to honor its historic role. The project will also include a brick memorial wall with the names of friends and loved ones and those who want to memorialize their contributions to this project. Our hope is that we create, and there is a website and opportunities to buy a brick, similar to what happened at the Old Kids Kingdom. Opportunities are there to buy a brick, and all the information is on the website. Our hope is that we create a lasting tribute that preserves the heritage, fosters community pride, and serves as a beacon for future generations. This project is truly a legacy endeavor that reflects our community's unwavering support for the military and its members. The vision of having an identity to include our proud support for our men and women in uniform will be represented on this site, and visitors from all over will be able to come and enjoy the rich history captured in the monuments that are going to be on display. Project Rise. and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, is Project Rise. Project Rise is a project that's promoted to ignite the flame of positive change, one public and private organization at a time. In conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce, the Commission has adopted Project Rise and its core values of respect, integrity, service, and excellence, which is really a collaborative effort on the part of the city, county, Alamogordo Public Schools, and the Chamber of Commerce to demonstrate our commitment to providing excellence in every area of service. These core values are words put into action and are the driving force behind our efforts and at the forefront of every decision we make that impacts our citizenry. And with that, I think, as you can see, we had a very productive 2024. We're looking forward to even better things in 2025. And I honestly, Commissioner Reardon was kind of joking earlier about the thankless job, and he's not really joking actually, but made the comment about the thankless job, and I feel very confident that we're all up here because we care about our community and we care about our citizens, and I think that each one of us lends a different perspective, and I think that really works well together. We all have different experiences and different, even just training and education. And of course, we all have different jobs. And I think every one of those is helpful. If you watch a meeting and we talk about construction, I always look that way because I sort of count on them to speak construction, although I am getting better at it. My goal in 2024 was to educate myself on construction, so I do feel like I have a much stronger understanding of it. I would say for me, I do understand the community because I do run a nonprofit, and so I wear two very opposite hats, but it helps me in terms of understanding, as you mentioned, like the homeless situation, but I also see it from the city perspective too. And it's important that as commissioners, we don't let our personal feelings interfere with our professional responsibility, because they sometimes, especially for me, they very much clash. Commissioner McDonald has a lot of HR experience and is able to help in that way. I've gleaned a lot from her in terms of that. And of course, Commissioner Robinson has been a staple for quite a while now and is able to add as well. So I think we all bring something. And now, of course, we have another real estate agent, oddly enough. The person before you was a real estate agent as well. How convenient is that? And so I think that we can all learn from each other, and I'm really proud of the work we do. I do remember a time when I used to come to commission meetings and they would go until midnight, and at midnight nothing got accomplished. And I do remember those times, and so I'm really proud of the work that we're doing. I'm proud of our staff. Our staff works really hard. I don't even know how they do it. Sometimes 52 projects is a lot of projects. It's certainly, in the 10 years that I've been here, I've never heard of that all at once. So I'm proud of the work that we're doing. I'm proud of our staff, and I am looking forward to great things in 2025. And with that, we're going to move on, unless anybody has any questions. Unless I've said something that sparked something. No? Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. So with that, we're going to move on to public comment. I do have one person signed up. Thank you for coming. My dear friend came tonight, and I appreciate it. I miss you terribly. We'll talk soon. Bye. Marge worked for me for many years, and she just retired, and I'm very sad, I have to tell you. Seeing her just makes me sadder, but that's okay. All right. We do have one person signed up for public comment. Joe L. And if you'll come up, state your name for the record, and you will have 3 minutes.
My name is Joe, and I just wanted to speak on, I'm super nervous. I just wanted to speak on free speech and why no government, including ours, can legally silence it on a public platform. The First Amendment isn't a weak promise. It declares Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. that binds us, city, state, and federal, without exception. Public platforms from our streets to the digital realm of social media are where people express, debate, and connect. The Supreme Court calls them the modern public square. You can't simply shut that down without tampering the Constitution. The courts have spoken clearly in 1939, Hagee versus CIO, affirmed that public spaces belong to the voices, public spaces belong to us for voicing our thoughts. You can regulate time and place, but not the message itself. Then in 2017, Packingham versus North Carolina ruled that social media is a cornerstone of free expression. The court struck down a restriction saying access is a right. If we tried to mute an online forum here, we'd be breaking the law, plain and simple. In 2024, Moody versus NetChoice and NetChoice versus Paxton challenged state efforts to control platforms. The Supreme Court pushed back, saying government doesn't dictate speech. Imagine us silencing dissent because it's loud or inconvenient. That's not leadership, it's control, and it's unlawful. Free speech isn't just for the polite or popular. In 1971, Cohen versus Cal, that's a popular one, protected a man's rights to wear a jacket with a bold offensive message. It's about the raw, the real, the ideas that challenge us. If we could kill platforms, we'd strangle that freedom. History provides it. Proves it. Suppressed speech and liberty crumbles. Yes, there are limits, violence, threats, but those are narrow. Not a license to censor. Reed versus Town of Gilbert in 2015 demands any restrictions be critical and precise. Blanket shutdowns, they don't hold up. So commissioners, it is illegal because the Constitution requires it, courts enforce it, and Alamogordo needs it. Public platforms are our voice. We can't stifle them without violating the law and the spirit of the community. Thank you for your time. I'm sorry if I went over.
No, you did
No,
good.
you're fine. Do you happen to be Joseph Lindsay?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. All right. It's nice to finally meet you. All right. I think that's worth answering, actually, if you don't mind. If somebody would like to respond to that.
So when the decision was made to turn off comments, we got information from our lawyers that as a government platform, we can't block anyone, we can't delete comments, but we can treat it as an informative platform as opposed to like a town hall type platform. Ash can probably give more info.
Yes, so there is case law from New Mexico that supports it. And I'd have to go back. It's been a while since I looked at it. But when we first did the turning off comments, basically the law said that we could turn off comments, but we'd have to do it uniformly, like on all of our pages, and we can use it like as a bulletin, right? So it's just like an online bulletin. Our town hall is here. That's our meetings, right? And that's also why we post it on YouTube and stuff like that. But the New Mexico law has said that we could turn off comments. on our
Because it's
social media.
information only. Okay, and just,
Because we don't monitor it all the time and we can't respond to every comment, that kind of stuff.
yeah. And just so we're clear, I did not make that decision. And I get this all the time from people. This was not my decision. I didn't make the decision. I had nothing to do with the decision. I'm thick-skinned. I really don't care what people say about me. I'm not real concerned with what they think about me. And for me, when we had comments and people said ugly things and used foul language, that just showed their character, not mine. So it didn't bother me, but I just want to be clear that I didn't do that, and I had nothing to do with it. But I do have to abide by it. If our legal counsel says we can't have comments, then I have to abide by that. that's all I can do. I don't know how else to respond to that. But it is on all of our platforms, every social media page that we have, comments are shut off. So it is fair and equal across the board. If somebody wants to ask me a question, my messenger works just fine, and I try to keep up with it. On my mayor's page, I will not respond on my personal page. I do get messages on my personal page. I will not respond. But if someone has a question for me, they can message me on my Facebook Messenger page, and I try to keep up with it. I'm not great at it. My cell phone is a way better method, or email, but that's all I'm going to say about that. We're going to move on to the city manager's report.
Yes, ma'am. Congratulations, Commissioner Guthrie. If you have any questions.
Ooh,
my
how does
office
that
is there.
sound? And then next
I was
meeting,
the
you'll have
first
a
one.
fancy nameplate to go with it.
I just cover a couple of things. I'm sure people are probably tired of hearing me talk about the $25 million. Well, it's everything's signed, sealed, and the money will come on a budget resolution in March. The first of the projects that we are going to hit are the water tanks. We're going to be hitting, I think it's Callahan, Lower Alamo, and Lower Ocotillo will be the next tanks. And then we're going to focus on the 16-inch transmission main at Lower Heights and Upper Heights. And then also the tower and liner at the La Luz filter plant. And just for perspective, the tower is dangerous for our staff. It was erected in 1954 and the liner in the 90s. So that's not safe for our staff. I also wanted to mention we are now doing Pet of the Week. You'll see that on our Facebook page, Animal Control Facebook page, and the Jumbotron. The Pet of the Week will also come with free neutering and spaying and a chip. Does it come? I think we're going to chip it as well, so that we can kind of help progress the adoptions. The Family Fun Center, you already covered that. I just wanted to put out there that we did have a very successful turnout. We had about 8 interested parties, different parties, and that anybody who went to the mandatory walkthrough must submit their proposals by March 10th to be considered and to be able to do the oral presentation. Actually, the oral presentation is on the 4th, and the commission will select on the 22nd. So I just wanted to put those dates out there. I had something else. I had spoken with Commissioner Reardon and Commissioner Burnett, and I think it was a good idea that once we get the new commissioners seated, we'll have an agenda item to talk about the vision for the commission direction. I don't think we've had that on the record, so that the commission, now the 7 of you, can kind of direct staff in budgets, the questions I asked for the departments, or what are your 3 priorities going into 2026, making sure that they're budget aligned with those priorities. And I think it'd be a good perspective to get the commission's priorities who are going into 2026 before we finalize and bring it to you all. And then I think that's all I got. Oh, I just wanted to make a comment. Like Commissioner Reardon said, some of our plans are 20 years old. We are working with CDM Smith to update our comprehensive plan and other things. We've had those meetings, and we're working with them to kind of get these updated. So I think that's all I got.
Anybody have any questions?
Do we know where we're at on application for the city manager?
I don't know. I know that I believe you were waiting till the new commissioner got on. And
We are, yes, we're waiting.
I just didn't know if we had any new applicants.
I'm not sure. That's handled by Michelle, and I believe she will, now that Commissioner Guthrie is seated, she will probably start reaching out and get an executive session or agenda
Yeah.
item.
I did reach out to Michelle the other day, and I told her that one of the applicants had emailed and sounded, they were aggressively trying to get us to make a decision. And so she included me on it, and that prompted me to just tell Michelle that really what we're waiting on is to seat the 7th commissioner, because I think we all felt like it wasn't really fair to make that decision. And so now that that's done, I'm actually going to be gone the next meeting. And so I was thinking the second meeting in March is probably when we would pick that up and start looking. But she has not said anything about, and I think she's been pretty good about sending out emails if we got new applicants or something. I know I've seen at least one. I thought I saw at least one, but maybe I didn't. I don't remember.
I only
But
remember
anyway.
one additional over and above the, 14 or 19 that we've seen
Yeah, didn't
already.
she send out one because
Back in like December.
December, right? And we haven't seen one since, so my assumption is we haven't.
We didn't notify the candidates that we were going to be on hold until we got our.
Yes, there was a
Did notify
notification.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they did, and I think that's why the one candidate reached out, was because they were notified that it's on hold for now. And so that is the plan, is to pick that back up now that we have a new commissioner seated, so. And then she too can be involved in the process. And of course, we're trying to do as much of that in an open meeting as we're legally allowed to. So a lot of that will be done in an open meeting. Do we have any remarks and inquiries by the City Commission? Anybody? Besides, I'm sorry, I know Commissioner Burnett had one, but anybody else?
I'd like to state for the record that after being here a little bit more than a year, I want to second your compliment to the city staff. Every time I've gone to the city, I've gotten not only honesty, but there's a great integrity about people who work for us now. They really care about this city. They work hard, they do an excellent job, and there's a lot of professionalism. So, again, kudos to the staff. Nobody's perfect, but they've done a heck of a job since I've been here. I remember people used to argue when I used to come to these meetings, but there's a collaboration now, and people do want this city to become better. You have problems with housing and with homelessness that are not easy to solve. Some of these things won't be solved your lifetime, I'll just be honest with you. But they're working hard at it. And you have citizens outside this commission that are working with them. So kudos to the city staff, because they're working hard. I know, I check with them all the time. And so I want to thank you for what you do, because you're doing a good job. Mayor, you forgot about the Altus Awards.
That was, we actually were awarded in 2020. Oh, my
forgot-
goodness.
But besides that, good report.
Thank you for now telling me.
Well, I didn't want to embarrass you until now.
No, now I'm more embarrassed. Okay, so I'm going to throw that in as a PS. In 2000, you know what it was? In 2023, okay, so the military community has a very prestigious award. It's called the Altus Award, and it is given to a community that demonstrates outstanding support for our military. And in 2023, we did apply, and you have to put a whole packet in. Shelley Bailey, who is, man, I feel like that was so long ago. Okay, Shelley Bailey is our liaison at the base. She works in public affairs, and she put together a packet. And this is not a little packet. This is a huge packet, and we gather letters of support from community leaders and elected officials. And in October, November 2023, the packet was submitted. And you're absolutely right. In like February, a year ago, actually, yeah, it was a year ago, we found out that we won the and it really is very prestigious Altus Award. You're right, because I was going to bring the trophy and everything, darn it, and I know Jarrett's probably watching and laughing at me. But anyway, but we did win the very prestigious Altus Award, and in June of 2024, we had a huge celebration at the Space Center. We had some pretty distinguished visitors. And I wish I could remember their names, and I wish I would have remembered that
It was a big deal.
earlier. It was kind of a big deal. It really was a big deal. And this is not an easy award to obtain. So the fact that our city, our small city, honestly, of 31,000 people, we compete with places like San Angelo, Texas, and San Antonio, and bases in, cities in Florida, very large cities. And the fact that our city was recognized for our efforts of support with the military, it really was a big deal. And thank you. I cannot believe I forgot that.
General Robinson.
General Robinson, yes, General Robinson was here. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. This is why you don't, okay, anyway.
I'm just
In my
helping out.
defense, I don't have a secretary to do this for me. I got to do it myself. So thank you for that. I appreciate that, Commissioner Robinson. But the Altus Award was quite a big deal. I can't believe I forgot that. I feel like it was longer than that. So we were awarded that. In terms of remarks and inquiries by the City Commission, I will just say that, and this sort of overlaps, and so I want to explain this because my nonprofit had a fundraiser recently. It was held at the Civic Center. Because it was held at the Civic Center did advertise on I call it the Jumbotron, I don't know what you call it. But they did not do that for me because I'm the mayor of Alamogordo. They did that because we paid to rent the Civic Center, and as part of that, rental, if you will, we were fortunate that they advertised it for us and on Facebook. But I just want to make that clear that I didn't, and all receipts are on file. Everything is public information, but our nonprofit, as Love Inc., did pay for everything. We did not ask for, nor did we receive any favors. And I feel like I needed to say that because there was at least one comment on social media that I honestly was a little, and I will tell you, I didn't even know it was on the Jumbotron. That's how I found out, is I read it on social media, because I don't read that like everybody else. I guess I should, but I'm too worried about not getting in a car accident, I guess. So anyway, I just wanted to explain that. We do have our bi-monthly base leadership meeting coming up on Friday. I will meet with, it's a great meeting. It's between the commander at the base, and we exchange ideas. I find out what's going on at the base. He finds out what's going on in town, and we sort of communicate on what we can do to help them and vice versa. So that is coming up. And I know there's like a million more things, but I'm going to move on because it has already been a long night. If nobody has anything else, we will move on to, I'm still shook up that I forgot the Altus Award. Okay. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they want to remove from the consent agenda? No?
Let's make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right. So do I have a motion from Commissioner Reardon?
Items 3, 4, and 5.
Okay. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda from Commissioner Reardon, a second from Commissioner Robinson. And they already put the vote up. Look, Rachel wants to get out of here too. Look at that. Okay. Just kidding.
Here's what you do.
You're good over there? Okay.
Save. I'll show you how to do it.
Okay, so
Not coming back, right?
Commissioner Guthrie, she doesn't have the same system as you do because her credentials haven't been added. So everybody has voted. So Commissioner Guthrie, what is your vote? And it will be 7-0.
Yeah. Okay, motion passes 7-0. We're going to move on. Oh, we are done. Do I have a motion to adjourn into executive closed session in compliance with 10-15-1 to discuss all current pending litigation? Yeah, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Oh, no. Only one of you gets to do that.
I think Commissioner McDonald was
Okay,
first.
so I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem McDonald. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner Burnett. Man, otherwise, they're not saying a word over there. Okay. And we are adjourned.
Madam Mayor, this is executive session. There has to be a roll call.
I thought we did that already, sorry. Okay. Go ahead and vote. I hope everybody.
I did.
Okay. Did you shut down or did you vote?
Yes, Rachel, I shut down.
Okay, what is your vote, Mayor Pro Tem?
Aye.
And your vote, Commissioner Guthrie?
Okay. And motion passes 7-0. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Which room we going to?